The wind screamed across the cliff face as Sarah Mitchell's boots sent pebbles tumbling into the 300-foot abyss below. Her toes hung over the edge. Behind her, Atlas the German shepherd clamped his jaws around her jacket sleeve, pulling backward with everything he had. Blood from his torn paws stained the snow red. She pushed him away. No words, she couldn't hear her own voice anymore. Hadn't heard anything in 3 years. Just the silence of her shattered world. Atlas refused to move. He planted himself between her and the void. Hackles raised. Then he did something he'd never done before. He howled. The sound vibrated through her skull, rattling her bones. She felt it. That primal cry. And then something else. A tremor in the frozen ground. Atlas's head snapped toward the tree line, ears forward, body tense. Someone was coming. Someone had seen everything. Leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments, along with the city you're watching from. Now, let's continue with the story. The hiker burst through the pine trees. GoPro still strapped to his chest. Face flushed from running. Ryan Colfax, Sarah would learn his name later from the papers he kept shoving at her, stumbled to a halt 15 feet away. Hands raised like she was a spooked animal. "Ma'am, please just step back from the edge." Sarah's hands moved frantically, trying to sign, then gave up. She grabbed the crumpled paper from her pocket, the one that read, "I'm sorry, Atlas," and scrawled on the back, "I'm fine. Please go." Ryan's eyes dropped to Atlas's bleeding paw, then to the paper, then back to her face. He didn't believe her. His hand was already reaching for his phone. "No," she tried to say, but the word came out garbled, wrong. She couldn't hear herself, couldn't control the pitch. Ryan flinched at the sound. He dialed anyway. Sarah lunged forward. But Atlas blocked her path, positioning himself between her and the stranger. The dog's low growl vibrated through the frozen air. Ryan backed up 2 steps, phone pressed to his ear, speaking quickly to someone she couldn't hear. Her fingers shook as she wrote again, "Don't take my dog. He's all I have." 15 minutes. That's how long it took for the rescue helicopter to appear over the ridge. Rotors chopping the sky into pieces, she felt, rather than heard. 2 EMTs rappelled down. Equipment clanking, radios crackling with voices she'd never know. The older one, a woman with steel gray hair pulled tight, approached slowly, hands visible. She knelt beside Atlas first, checking his injured paw while Sarah's heart hammered against her ribs. When the woman moved toward Sarah, Atlas's lips peeled back from his teeth. The EMT froze, looked at Sarah, mouthed something slowly, "Tell him I'm here to help." Sarah touched Atlas's head. The dog relaxed, barely. The examination was quick, professional. But when the woman's fingers brushed Sarah's sleeve up, checking her pulse, she'd claim later she saw them. Old scars, thin white lines across Sarah's forearm. The woman's expression shifted. She wrote on her clipboard, showed it to her partner. They wanted to take her in. Psychiatric hold. Sarah wrote, hand cramping, "I have the right to refuse." The gray-haired EMT studied her for a long moment, then did something unexpected. She smiled sad, knowing. Wrote back, "Jennifer Hale. I was at Bagram, 2019. I remember you. Mitchell. You carried 3 soldiers out of that blast zone before you collapsed." Sarah's vision blurred. Jennifer wrote again, "I won't force you, but I'm watching." "Understand," Sarah nodded. Jennifer pulled out her phone, turned the screen toward Sarah. A video played shaky footage from Ryan's GoPro. The view counter climbed 3D1 to 27. 3,289, 3,401 people watching live. Comments scrolled past. Most she ignored. But one made her blood freeze. Oh, Dr. Marcus, Vet MD. I know that dog. That's Atlas. My dog. I've been searching everywhere for him. The username sat there, burning into her retinas. Marcus, her ex-husband. The man who'd left her 3 weeks after she came home deaf. The man she hadn't spoken to in 3 years. And somehow, he knew exactly where she was. The drive back to the cabin took 40 minutes on roads that turned from asphalt to gravel to dirt. Sarah's hands stayed locked on the steering wheel of her '98 Ford Ranger, the only thing she'd kept from the divorce, besides her military duffel and a box of photographs she'd never opened. Atlas rode in the passenger seat, his bandaged paw elevated on her backpack. The vet clinic in town had cleaned and wrapped it for free after Jennifer made a call. Small-town courtesy for veterans. Sarah hated accepting charity, but Atlas came first, always. The cabin appeared through the trees like an accusation. One room, peeling paint. A satellite dish she couldn't afford to activate dangling from the roof. She paid $200 a month to a landlord she'd never met. Cash only, slipped under the office door of the property management company in Whitefish. Inside, the November cold had settled into every corner. Sarah checked the wood stove first down to 3 logs. She'd need to chop more tomorrow. The refrigerator hummed unevenly, 1 carton of eggs, 3 cans of soup, a half-gallon of milk 2 days from expiring, and 6 cans of Atlas's food. She'd bought the cheap stuff this time. Her bank account didn't allow for premium anything. The kitchen table was an archaeology of unpaid bills. She picked up the one on top, final notice in red letters. $500 owed for 3 months' rent. She had $347.42 in her account. The math didn't work. Her phone, a flip phone from 2015 that she'd turned off 3 years ago, sat in a drawer beneath a stack of expired coupons. She'd charged it yesterday for the first time in forever, though she couldn't remember why. Maybe some part of her had known she'd need it. Now it wouldn't stop vibrating. She pulled it out. The screen was a cascade of notifications, 127 Facebook messages, 89 missed calls, emails from addresses she didn't recognize, GoFundMe, news stations, the VA. Her thumb hovered over the delete all button. Atlas's cold nose pressed against her wrist. He pushed the phone back toward her with his muzzle, then sat, staring at her with those amber eyes that saw too much. "Fine," she muttered, knowing he couldn't hear her damaged voice, knowing he understood anyway. She scrolled. Most messages were from strangers. "You're a hero. Stay strong. We're praying for you. Delete, delete, delete." Then one from a local news producer, $500 for an exclusive interview. $500. Exactly what she needed for rent. Her finger hesitated. Atlas whined, low and worried. She deleted it while refilling Atlas's water bowl. Her hand brushed against something in his fur, a hard lump near his collar. She explored it gently, fingers finding a small nylon pouch she'd never noticed before. Inside a GPS tracker, no bigger than a USB drive. The LED blinked green, active, broadcasting. A label in tiny print, property of Mountain Canine Training. If found, call 406-55-0147. Sarah's stomach dropped. Someone had been tracking Atlas, tracking her. For how long, she dialed the number with shaking fingers. It rang once. A man's voice answered. She couldn't hear it clearly, just the rumble of bass tones through the speaker. She read the automated caption text that appeared. "Atlas, thank God. We've been worried." She typed, "I have Atlas. He's safe. Don't contact me again." The reply came immediately. "We need to talk. It's important. I'm coming there." Sarah's blood turned to ice. She typed back. "Who is this?" 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. "Colonel Robert Hayes. Your former commanding officer. We served together in Kabul. I know where you are. Mitchell, I've always known. I sent Atlas to you 6 months ago. And before you ask why, you need to hear what I know about Emma." Sarah dropped the phone. Emma. Her best friend. Her battle buddy. The woman who died in her arms while Sarah screamed for a medic she couldn't hear coming. Emma, who'd been dead for 5 years. What could Hayes possibly know that Sarah didn't through the window? Headlights cut through the darkness, climbing the dirt road toward her cabin, high beams, moving fast. Atlas moved to the door and barked once his alert bark. Someone was here. Colonel Robert Hayes looked older than Sarah remembered. 58 now, with gray threading through his regulation haircut and lines carved deep around his eyes. He stood on her porch with his hands clearly visible. Empty, non-threatening. Atlas didn't growl. That was the first surprise. Sarah opened the door but didn't step aside. Hayes didn't move to enter. Instead, he pulled out a small notebook and pen, held them up like a peace offering, then wrote, "May, I come in. I'm not here to hurt you." She took the notebook, wrote back, "You tracked me. For 6 months. Yes." Why, Hayes wrote slowly, "Carefully, because I failed you once. I wasn't going to fail you again." Sarah's jaw tightened. She stepped back, letting him in. They sat at her kitchen table, the notebook passing between them like a war dispatch. Hayes wrote first, "I know what happened after you came home. The discharge, the divorce. I tried to reach you. You disappeared. I wanted to disappear. I know. That's why I sent Atlas." Sarah's pen stopped mid-word. She stared at him. Hayes continued writing, "He's from a program I help run. Mountain Canine Training. We place service dogs with veterans who have severe PTSD. Atlas was trained specifically for you panic attack detection, deep pressure therapy, the works. You had no right, you're right. I didn't. But you were going to die. Mitchell, I knew it. So I took the choice out of your hands. I had Atlas accidentally released near your cabin 6 months ago. The GPS was to make sure he found you, and to make sure you were still alive." Sarah's hand trembled as she wrote, "You spied on me. I monitored your survival. There's a difference." "No, there isn't." Hayes rubbed his face, suddenly looking every one of his years. He wrote, "The video went viral. 47,000 views now. Someone set up a GoFundMe campaign for you. Help Atlas's veteran mom. It's raised $12,847 in 6 hours." Sarah blinked. That was more money than she'd seen in 3 years. Hayes opened his laptop, turned it toward her. The GoFundMe page filled the screen, her face from the viral video. Atlas pulling her back from the edge. The description read, "This hero dog saved his veteran's life. Now they both need our help." The comments scrolled endlessly. "Take my money. Veterans deserve better. This dog is a hero." Hayes wrote, "The target is $8,000 for emergency vet care." Sarah's pen hovered. She wrote, "What vet care? Atlas is healthy." Hayes's expression shifted. He pulled out a manila folder, slid it across the table. Medical records, Dr. Elena Morrison. DVM, date 1 week ago. Diagnosis, grade 3-6 heart murmur. Mitral valve disease. Prognosis, surgery required within 6 to 12 months. Without intervention, heart failure. Cost estimate $8,000, $10,000. Sarah's vision tunneled. She read it twice, 3 times. The words didn't change. Hayes wrote I had him checked during his last GPS battery replacement. I'm sorry. I should have told you sooner. How long does he have with surgery? Years. Without it. Hayes paused, then finished 6 months. Maybe 12 if we're lucky. Sarah looked at Atlas, sleeping peacefully by the wood stove, his bandaged paws stretched out. He looked fine, healthy, strong. He was dying. Hayes kept writing, here's what I can do. Use the GoFundMe money for his surgery. I know a lawyer who'll help us legitimize Atlas as your certified service dog pro bono. Once he's official, your VA disability benefits could be restored. You'd have legal protection. A real chance. Why are you helping me? Hayes's pen stilled. When he wrote again, his handwriting was shakier because I owe you. I owe Emma. I owe every soldier I sent into hell. Let me do this one thing right. Sarah wanted to throw him out, wanted to scream at him for playing God with her life. Instead, she wrote, what do I have to do over the next 2 days? Hayes became a presence she couldn't shake. He handled phone calls, coordinated with the lawyer, set up the surgery appointment with Dr. Morrison. The GoFundMe climbed $15,000, $20,000, $28,000. News stations called. Sarah refused every interview, but Hayes leaked just enough to keep the story alive. On the second evening, Sarah sat on her porch with Atlas, watching the sunset paint the mountains gold. For the first time in 3 years, she wore her hearing aids, the ones Emma had saved up to buy her, sent through the Red Cross before she died. The world rushed back in fragments, wind through pine needles. Atlas is breathing, a distant crow calling. She wrote in her journal, maybe I can try. For Atlas. Her phone buzzed, an email. Subject line, legal notice. She opened it. Petition for recovery of property. Sender Marcus J. Whitmore, DVM, represented by Crawford & Associates law firm. The PDF loaded. 8 pages. She scrolled to the first line. Petitioner seeks immediate return of German Shepherd, registered name Atlas von Bergmann, microchip 956,000, non-12, 104-789. Unlawfully retained by respondent Sarah Mitchell since approximately 6 months ago. Her eyes caught on a highlighted section. Hearing scheduled 10:00 a.m., 5 days from now. At the bottom of page 8, a signature, Marcus's signature, the same looping handwriting from their marriage certificate 10 years ago. But it was the attached document that made her stop breathing. Atlas's original registration papers. Owner Dr. Marcus J. Whitmore. Date of purchase September 2020. Training certification. Mountain K9 Service Dog Program. Completed September 15th, 2023. Registered handler Dr. Marcus J. Whitmore. Sarah looked at Hayes, who'd gone pale, reading over her shoulder. She wrote with a hand so steady it surprised her. You didn't know Atlas belonged to my ex-husband. Did you? Hayes shook his head. The man who left me 3 weeks after I came home deaf. The man who divorced me while I was still learning to read lips. That Marcus. Hayes wrote, I swear. I didn't know. The program only told me Atlas needed placement. That his previous owner surrendered him due to financial hardship. I never asked the name. Financial hardship. Sarah wrote, underlining it twice. Marcus is a veterinarian. He owns his own practice. Her phone buzzed again. A text notification, converted to text by her accessibility app, unknown number Sarah. It's Marcus. We need to talk about Atlas before this goes to court. I don't want to fight. I just want my dog back. Call me. Atlas lifted his head, sensing her distress. He patted over, pressed his weight against her legs. She had 5 days before the hearing. 5 days before a judge would decide who Atlas belonged to. 5 days before she lost the only reason she had left to breathe. And $28,000 in a frozen GoFundMe account she couldn't access because someone Marcus's lawyer she'd bet had reported the campaign as fraudulent, claiming the dog wasn't legally hers to fundraise for. Sarah stood, walked to the window. Headlights were coming up the road again. A different vehicle this time. Low, sleek, expensive. A Tesla. Marcus hadn't waited for her to call. He was here. The Tesla Model Y gleamed under Sarah's porch light, spotless despite the dirt road. Marcus stepped out first, still handsome at 38, wearing a tailored jacket that probably cost more than Sarah's monthly disability check used to be. Still wearing his wedding ring. She noticed a different one. The passenger door opened. A woman emerged, younger, blonde, holding a Pomeranian that wore a rhinestone collar. She looked like she'd stepped out of an Instagram filter. Atlas recognized Marcus immediately. His ears went forward, tail gave one uncertain wag. Then he looked up at Sarah and moved closer to her legs. A choice made. Marcus's smile faltered. Sarah didn't open the door. Hayes stood behind her, tense. Marcus raised his voice, knowing she was deaf. "Sarah, please, can we just talk?" The blonde Brittany, Sarah would learn, pulled out her phone, angling it to capture the cabin, the rusted truck, Sarah's worn clothing. Her thumbs moved rapid-fire across the screen. Sarah grabbed the notebook, wrote in large letters, held it up to the window. "Get off my property." Marcus pulled out his own phone, typed, showed her the screen. "I don't want to fight. It's about Atlas. He needs proper care." Sarah's response was immediate. "He has proper care. Mine." Marcus typed Sarah. "Be reasonable. Look at this place. Look at what you can give him. I have a house, a yard, money for his medical needs." She cut him off by yanking the curtain closed. But Marcus didn't leave. He knocked again. Harder. Hayes opened the door a crack. "Colonel Hayes." Marcus's eyebrows rose. What are you doing here?" Hayes wrote on his notepad, held it up, helping a veteran in need. "By giving her my dog." Marcus's voice rose. "Atlas was part of your program. Wasn't he? I paid for his training. I have the certificates. And you just... What gave him away?" Brittany's phone was still up, recording. She stage whispered to the camera, "OMG, you guys, this is insane. The colonel literally stole Marcus's dog." Hayes's jaw clenched. He wrote, "You surrendered Atlas to a shelter. Claimed financial hardship. The shelter contacted our program. We placed him." Marcus had the decency to look uncomfortable. "That was temporary. I was going through a rough patch." Sarah yanked the door fully open, shoved her phone in Marcus's face. She'd pulled up his social media. Photos from the Bahamas, posted 3 months ago. #blessed, #living my best life. A photo of his new house, 4 bedrooms, in-ground pool. Price tag visible on a real estate site, $450,000. Purchased November 2023. The same month he'd surrendered Atlas. Marcus's face reddened. "That's different. That was," Sarah typed on her phone. "Let the text-to-speech read it. You bought a house, went on vacation. while telling the shelter you couldn't afford a dog. Business investment, the house was... Marcus stopped, realizing how it sounded. Brittany wasn't helping. She'd gone live on Instagram, reuniting Marcus with his hero dog. Full story coming. Chunner Atlas, the hero Arva reunion. The comments flooded in real time, visible over her shoulder. He abandoned the dog though, team Sarah all the way. Wait, is this the Cliff video dog? That man is trash, but also legal owner is legal owner. She can't just steal someone's dog. Marcus has rights. The internet was splitting down the middle. Inside the cabin, Sarah showed Hayes a screenshot. Someone had reported the GoFundMe as fraudulent. The campaign was frozen pending investigation. $28,000 untouchable. Hayes wrote, "I'll fix this. I'll call them." Explained. Sarah's response was sharp. "You fixed enough. Please." Marcus called from the porch. "Can I at least see him? I've been looking for 6 months." Sarah's hand hesitated on the door. Maybe if she let Marcus see that Atlas didn't want him anymore. She opened the door wider. Marcus knelt, opened his arms. "Atlas, come here, boy." The dog's ears flicked. He took one step toward Marcus, then stopped, looked back at Sarah, whined, "Atlas." Marcus tried again, voice cracking with something that might have been real emotion. "It's me. It's Dad." Atlas sat down next to Sarah. Brittany captured it all, her voice sugary. "Oh, he's just confused. He'll remember you, babe." Marcus stood, brushing dirt from his expensive jeans. His expression shifted, hurt giving way to something harder. "Fine. We'll do this the legal way. I didn't want to. But you're leaving me no choice." He pulled papers from his jacket. Sarah recognized the legal letterhead, Crawford and Associates, one of Montana's most expensive law firms. He placed them on the porch railing. "Microchip registered to me, 2020. Training certificates in my name, proof of purchase, vet bills I paid for 3 years. You have nothing. Sarah, no papers, no legal standing, nothing." Sarah grabbed the notebook. "I have 6 months of him choosing me. Judges don't care about feelings. They care about law." Marcus's voice was almost gentle, which made it worse. "I'm sorry. I really am. But he's mine." Hayes stepped forward. "She's a disabled veteran. Atlas is her medical necessity. That supersedes." "Does it?" Marcus's lawyer voice activated. "Is he registered as her service dog? Has she completed the legal certification? Does she have documentation from a mental health professional stating medical necessity?" Hayes's silence was answer enough. "I thought not." Marcus turned to leave, then paused. 5 days. Sarah, the hearing is in 5 days. Get a lawyer, though I know you can't afford one." After they left, Sarah found she couldn't stop shaking. Hayes tried to apologize, but she shoved the notebook at him. "You didn't check who owned Atlas. You didn't check who trained him. You just played God with my life. I was trying to help. You made it worse. Everything is worse. Leave. Sarah, please leave." Hayes gathered his things at the door. He wrote one last message. "I'm sorry. For everything. For Emma. For this. For all of it. I'll find you a lawyer. I'll fix the GoFundMe. Sarah closed the door in his face. She was alone. Again. The way she preferred it. The way she deserved. Except for Atlas, who pressed against her legs, solid and warm and real. For now, Sarah checked her bank account on her phone. $347.82. Rent due $500. Food for Atlas, 3 days left. Surgery needed 2 weeks, according to Dr. Morrison. Cost $8,000 she didn't have and couldn't access. Her email pinged, subject temporary restraining order granted. She opened it with numb fingers. Respondent Sarah Mitchell is hereby ordered to surrender German Shepherd Atlas to petitioner Marcus Whitmore pending final hearing. Compliance required within 24 hours or face contempt of court. Timestamp 4:47 p.m. Current time 5 to 12 p.m. 18 hours and 48 minutes. Tomorrow at noon. She would have to hand Atlas over to Marcus. Her phone buzzed again. Dr. Morrison. The text-to-speech read, Sarah, it's Elena Morrison. Atlas's latest blood work came back. The heart condition is progressing faster than expected. We need to operate within 2 weeks maximum, or I can't guarantee survival. I'm sorry. I wish I had better news. 2 weeks. But in 18 hours, Atlas would belong to Marcus, and Sarah would have nothing left to lose. She looked down at Atlas, who gazed up at her with complete trust. She'd survived Afghanistan, survived the blast that took her hearing, survived Emma's death, survived a marriage ending and 3 years of isolation. She could survive this. She had to. Sarah opened her laptop, searched how to fight a custody order, service dog legal rights, disability discrimination lawyers, Montana. The search results swam before her eyes. Then her phone lit up one more time. Unknown number. The automated caption appeared. This is Jennifer Hale, the EMT from the cliff. I saw the news. I know what you're planning tomorrow. Don't show up to that court transfer. There's another way. Meet me at Millie's Diner, 6 a.m. tomorrow. I'm bringing someone who can help. Trust me one more time. Sarah stared at the message. Below it, another text arrived. Hayes. Lily's foster parents just called me. They saw the viral video. They recognized the story I told them about Emma. They want to meet you. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Sarah, Emma's daughter, is 3 years old now. Her name is Lily, and she's been asking about the soldier lady who loved Mommy. I know the timing is terrible. But if you don't show up tomorrow to surrender Atlas, you'll be arrested, and Lily will never meet the woman her mother died protecting. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for all of it. 2 meetings, 1 choice, 1 deadline. Sarah looked at the clock, 5:23 p.m. In 17 hours and 37 minutes, everything would end. Unless she ran. The parking lot of Whitefish Municipal Building smelled like diesel and defeat. 11 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. Cold enough that Sarah's breath formed clouds she couldn't hear. Sheriff Deputy Martinez stood between them, witness to the transfer. Neutral ground, civilized. Sarah's hands wouldn't stop shaking as she clipped the leash to Atlas's collar, not the worn nylon one she'd bought at the dollar store, but the leather one Marcus had brought. $75, the price tag still attached, embossed with Atlas's name in gold lettering. Atlas planted his feet, refused to move toward the Tesla. Come on, boy. Marcus's voice carried false cheer. Remember me. We're going home. The dog looked back at Sarah, whined. The sound cut through her chest like shrapnel. She knelt on the frozen asphalt, put her forehead against his. Her tears fell onto his fur. And she felt, rather than hurt herself making sounds, broken animal sounds that shaped words she'd never hear. I'm sorry. I love you. I'm so sorry. Atlas licked her face, his tail tucked between his legs. Deputy Martinez cleared his throat uncomfortably. "Ma'am, we need to." Sarah stood, handed Marcus the leash with hands that felt disconnected from her body. Marcus pulled. Atlas's claws scraped concrete. The deputy stepped in to help two grown men dragging an 80-pound dog toward a car, while Sarah stood frozen, watching her entire world compress into this single moment. Atlas's howl split the air. Sarah felt it in her bones, that same vibration from the cliff, calling her back, begging her. The Tesla's door slammed shut. Through the tinted window, Sarah saw Atlas's face pressed against the glass, mouth open, desperate. The car pulled away. Sarah stood in that parking lot for 20 minutes after they left, staring at the empty space where the Tesla had been. The cabin was a mausoleum. Atlas's food bowl still sat by the door, half full of kibble he'd never finish. His blanket lay crumpled by the wood stove. Fur clung to the couch cushions. Sarah didn't clean any of it. She lay on his blanket instead, pulled it around herself, breathed in the smell of dog and wood smoke and the 6 months they'd had together. Her phone buzzed endlessly. She ignored it, until the Instagram notification broke through. Brittany's account, Atlas, settling into his new home. The photos showed Atlas in a pristine living room, gleaming hardwood floors, designer furniture, a bed shaped like a dog bone. Tags still attached $200 at PetSmart. Atlas lay in the corner, facing the wall, the food bowl beside him untouched. Comments: "He looks miserable. Dogs know who really loves them. On Team Sarah, but also, give him time, he'll adjust. Marcus is his legal owner. Oh, get over it." Sarah closed the app before she threw the phone. Day 3. Brittany's update. "Worried about our boy? He's not eating?" Day 5. Dr. Morrison called. The text-to-speech translation. "Sarah, Marcus brought Atlas in. He's lost 8 pounds in a week. Severe stress response. I recommended returning him to you, but Marcus declined. I'm sorry. My hands are tied." Day 7. Court date. Sarah walked into the Flathead County Courthouse wearing the same clothes she'd worn to the transfer. Her only clean pair of jeans. A flannel shirt Emma had given her 10 years ago, worn soft at the elbows. Marcus arrived in a suit. Brittany wore a dress that cost more than Sarah's truck. The courtroom was standing room only. News cameras outside. The viral story had grown teeth. Judge Patricia Brennan, 62, gray hair and a severe bun, looked down from the bench. "Miss Mitchell, do you have legal representation?" Sarah shook her head, held up her notepad. "Can't afford it." The judge's expression tightened. "This is a complex case. I strongly advise I'll represent myself." Marcus's lawyer, Richard Crawford, stood, silver-haired, $600 an hour, shark smile. "Your Honor, this should be straightforward. We have documentation proving Dr. Whitmore's ownership, microchip records, purchase receipts, training certificates, 3 years of veterinary bills totaling $4,200. He slid the exhibits across. Sarah had nothing to counter with. 6 months of iPhone photos, the viral video, her desperation. Crawford continued. "Furthermore, Your Honor, we question the respondent's ability to properly care for a service animal. Ms. Mitchell is profoundly deaf, lives in substandard housing, and has no documented income. She cannot provide the standard of care Atlas requires." Sarah's pen flew across her notepad. The bailiff read it aloud. "Atlas came to me when I was going to die. He saved my life. He is my life." Emotional appeal? Crawford dismissed. Not legal grounds. Judge Brennan leaned forward. Ms. Mitchell, do you have any legal documentation establishing Atlas as your service animal? Sarah wrote working on it. Working on it isn't the same as having it. Do you have a letter from a medical professional stating you require a service dog? No, I haven't seen a doctor in 3 years. Why not? Sarah's hand shook as she wrote, couldn't afford it. VA cut my benefits. Marcus's testimony was smooth, practiced. Your Honor, I loved Atlas. When my financial situation forced me to temporarily rehome him, I used a reputable program, Colonel Hayes's Mountain K9 training. I never intended permanent surrender. I've been searching for Atlas for 6 months. I only just discovered his location through the viral video. His voice caught genuine emotion or good acting. Sarah couldn't tell. I can provide everything he needs. A home, medical care, stability. Ms. Mitchell is clearly struggling. I don't want to cause her pain, but Atlas deserves better. Better. As if love could be measured in square footage and bank accounts. The judge's ruling: shared custody pending final evaluation. 1 week alternating. Dr. Whitmore will maintain possession during week 1, given his ability to address Atlas's immediate medical needs. Sarah wrote, his heart surgery. 2-week deadline. Who pays? I'll pay. Marcus said immediately. Your Honor, I'm a veterinarian. I have the resources and expertise. Then it's settled. Final hearing in 30 days. Sarah left the courthouse in a daze. 30 days. Atlas would spend half that time with Marcus, half that time without her. If he survived that long. The eviction notice arrived 2 days later. 3 months unpaid rent. 30 days to vacate. The same day. The VA's official letter, disability benefits, terminated. Reason: failure to appear for mandatory psychiatric evaluation. The appointment she'd missed because she'd been in court. Appeal process: minimum 6 months. Current income 0. Savings $127.34. Atlas's surgery needed in 1 week. GoFundMe still frozen. Sarah sat on her cabin floor, soon to be someone else's cabin, and pulled out the box she'd kept hidden for 3 years, the one she'd never opened. Inside, photos of Emma. Their deployment? The 2 of them grinning in front of a Humvee, dust-covered and alive. Emma's dog tag Sarah had carried them out of Afghanistan in her pocket. Couldn't bring herself to send them to Emma's family. A letter, unopened, addressed in Emma's handwriting. Sarah had never read it, couldn't bear to. The Red Cross had delivered it 6 months after Emma died. Said it was written before the blast, now. With nothing left to lose. She opened it. Sarah, if you're reading this, something went wrong. I'm sorry. I promised I'd make it home. Don't blame yourself. Whatever happened, it wasn't your fault. You need to hear that. Your fault. Live for both of us. Find something or someone worth living for. Promise me you'll try. You're stronger than you think. You always were. I love you. Battle buddy. Always. Emma Sarah read it 3 times, memorized every word. Then she pulled out the pill bottle from 2022. Ambien, 30 tablets. Prescribed after the divorce, never taken. She counted them. Enough. Atlas wasn't coming back. The cabin was gone. Her benefits, gone. Emma, gone. What was the point of surviving? She lined the pills up on the table, filled a glass with water. The knock on the door was so sudden she dropped the glass. It shattered on the floor. Hayes's voice, muffled, Mitchell, Open up, I know you're in there. She didn't move. The door crashed open. The lock had always been broken. She just never cared before. Hayes stood there, breathing hard, eyes wild. In his hands, a manila envelope, thick, worn at the edges. He thrust his notepad at her. Emma didn't die in 2019. She died in 2020. She was alive for 6 months as a POW. And she wrote you a letter. 2 pages. I only gave you 1. I'm sorry. I thought the second page would make it worse, but you need to read it. Now. Sarah's vision blurred. Emma was alive for 6 months. I didn't know about the pregnancy until the Red Cross contacted me after she died. I made a choice. I thought God helped me. I thought keeping you in the dark was protecting you. He pulled papers from the envelope. The first page, the letter Sarah had just read. The second page, different handwriting. Shakier. Dated March 2020. 6 months after the blast. Sarah, I'm alive. Barely. They have me. Don't know where. Doesn't matter. I'm pregnant. 4 months now. Girl, I think. I'm calling her Lily, your middle name. Remember, I won't make it. Infection spreading. But the Red Cross promised they'll get her out. Find her, please. She's all I have left of hope. Your mother was wrong about you. You are enough. You always were. Live. For me. For Lily. For everyone we couldn't save. I love you. Emma, the paper slipped from Sarah's hands. Emma had been alive, pregnant, had a daughter. A daughter Sarah never knew existed. Hayes wrote, Lily is 3 years old. In foster care in Missoula. Her parents saw the viral video. They want to meet you. Tomorrow. 2 p.m. Tomorrow. When Sarah was supposed to return Atlas to Marcus for week 2. When Sarah was supposed to have nothing left. But now, where is she? Sarah wrote. Hands shaking so hard the words barely legible. Hayes showed her his phone, a photo. A little girl with Emma's eyes, Emma's smile, holding a stuffed dog. The caption, Lily Anderson Foster, age 3. Loves dogs. Stories about her mommy, her Aunt Sarah she's never met. Sarah's knees gave out. Emma's daughter was alive, waiting. And Sarah was standing in a cabin with pills on the table, and 18 hours until she lost Atlas forever. Her phone buzzed. Jennifer Hale. 6 a.m. tomorrow. Millie's Diner. I found you a lawyer. Pro bono. Disability rights specialist. She thinks she can block Marcus. But you have to trust me. One more time. Are you and Sarah looked at the pills on the table? Looked at Emma's letter, looked at the photo of Lily. She typed one word, yes. Then, what do I need to do? Jennifer's response came immediately. Don't surrender Atlas tomorrow. We're filing an emergency injunction. ADA violation, removing a service animal from a disabled person, poses imminent danger. But Sarah, if you don't show up to court transfer, there'll be a warrant. You'll be a fugitive. You have to decide, play by their rules and lose everything, or break them and maybe save him. Sarah's hand stilled. 18 hours to choose between the law and love, between giving up and fighting back, between Emma's daughter and Atlas's life. She wrote back, tell me what to do. 5:45 a.m. Sarah hadn't slept. Atlas's empty bed accused her from across the cabin. She'd packed a duffel bag, Emma's letters, Atlas's vet records, $300 in cash withdrawn from her dying account. The photo of Lily. Millie's Diner sat on the edge of white fish, a relic from the 1950s that smelled like burnt coffee and maple syrup. Jennifer waited in the corner booth. Not alone. The woman beside her was maybe 40, Korean American. wearing a blazer over jeans and an expression that said she didn't lose often. She stood when Sarah approached, offered her hand, then remembered and pulled out a tablet instead. She typed, "Christine Park, disability rights attorney. I work pro bono for veterans. The system screws over. Jennifer told me your story. I'm pissed off, which means I'm invested. Sit." Sarah sat. Christine typed rapid fire. Sliding the tablet back and forth, Marcus is violating the Americans with Disabilities Act. You're a disabled veteran. Atlas saves your life literally. We have video proof. Removing him poses imminent danger. That supersedes property law. Sarah wrote on her notepad. But he's legally Marcus's dog. Law isn't black and white. It's whoever argues better. Here's what we do. Emergency injunction. File today. Argue medical necessity. We need one thing: a letter from a psychiatrist confirming you require Atlas to survive. I haven't seen a doctor in 3 years. Then we see one today. Christine checked her watch. VA hospital opens at 7. I know someone, Dr. Alan Foster. He owes me. We get the letter. File by 9 a.m. And pray Judge Brennan is more interested in keeping a veteran alive than protecting a rich man's property rights. Sarah's hand trembled. If I don't show up for the court transfer at 10, they'll issue a warrant. I know. That's why we're gambling. File the injunction at 9. It goes before the judge at 9:30. If she grants it, the transfer is suspended. If she denies it. Christine's expression hardened. You'll be in contempt. Arrest warrant. But here's the thing, I don't think she'll deny it. Not with the public watching, not with your story. And Atlas's surgery, Jennifer spoke up. Sarah reading her lips. Dr. Morrison agreed to operate today, 11 a.m. If we can prove Atlas is yours by law, we proceed. If not, she didn't finish. Sarah wrote, if the judge denies the injunction, I'm a fugitive. But Atlas dies without surgery. Christine nodded. So we don't let her deny it. The VA hospital smelled like disinfectant and fluorescent lights. Dr. Alan Foster was younger than Sarah expected, 55. Kind eyes. Sleeves rolled up like he'd been working all night. He sat across from her with a clipboard thick with forms. Christine had explained the situation. He didn't waste time. The questionnaire was brutal. Rate your anxiety 110. Frequency of panic attacks. Suicidal ideation never. Sometimes. Often. Always. Sarah's pen hesitated on that last one. Foster watched her face, typed on his laptop. Turn the screen. You don't have to lie to me. The VA already failed you. I'm not them. Sarah checked often. The questions continued. Triggers, coping mechanisms, sleep patterns. When she got to describe a recent incident where you felt in danger, she wrote about the cliff. Dr. Foster read it twice, typed without Atlas. What would have happened? Sarah's response was immediate. I would have jumped. And now, if you lose him permanently, she didn't answer. Didn't need to. Dr. Foster printed the letter on official letterhead, signed it, handed it to Christine. Patient exhibits severe PTSD with suicidal ideation. Service animal Atlas is demonstrably essential to patient survival. Removal poses imminent and severe risk of self-harm. Recommend immediate return of animal to patient's care. Christine read it, smiled grimly. This'll work. 9 a.m. The courthouse steps. Christine filed the emergency motion. 3 copies. Stamped and logged. Hearing 9:45. Sarah sat on a bench outside the courtroom, watching the clock. Atlas was with Marcus right now, not eating, dying slowly from a broken heart while his actual heart failed. Her phone buzzed. Hayes Lily's foster parents are here, waiting at the family center. 2 p.m. still work, Sarah typed back, if I'm not in jail. Hayes, you won't be. I have faith. You had faith in sending me Atlas without telling me he belonged to my ex-husband. The 3 dots appeared, disappeared, no response. 9:45. Judge Brennan's chambers, Sarah, Christine, and Richard Crawford squeezed into a room too small for the tension it held. Judge Brennan read the motion. Read Dr. Foster's letter. Looked at Sarah over her reading glasses. Ms. Mitchell, you understand that if I grant this, you're essentially asking me to overrule a property law decision based on disability accommodation. Christine spoke. We're asking you to prioritize a veteran's life over a microchip registration. Your Honor. Crawford interjected. My client has rights. He purchased Atlas, paid for his training, maintained ownership documentation. Your client, Christine cut in, abandoned Atlas when he needed expensive medical care, then conveniently wanted him back after he became famous. The court should question those motives. Objection to characterization. Judge Brennan raised her hand. Silence fell. She wrote something, pushed it toward Sarah. If I grant this, Atlas stays with you during surgery and recovery. But the final custody hearing still happens in 30 days. This is temporary. Understood. Sarah nodded. Then my ruling is emergency injunction granted. Atlas is to remain with Miss Mitchell pending final hearing. Dr. Whitmore will not be held in contempt for his current possession, but he must return the animal to Miss Mitchell by. She checked her watch. 11 a.m. today. That gives him 90 minutes. Crawford stood. Your Honor, with respect, my ruling stands. Counselor, Ms. Mitchell's medical needs supersede property disputes. We'll resolve ownership in 30 days. Until then, the veteran keeps her service dog. Court adjourned. Sarah couldn't breathe. She'd won. Temporarily. But won. Christine gripped her shoulder. We've got 90 minutes. Morrison is prepped for surgery at 11. Can Marcus get Atlas here in time? Sarah was already texting Judge ordered you to return Atlas. 11 a.m. Dr. Morrison's clinic. Surgery happens today. No response. She tried calling. Straight to voicemail. 10 a.m. 10:15. 10:30. Christine called Marcus's office. Closed. Called his cell. No answer. 10:45. Sarah's hands went numb. He's not coming. Christine typed furiously on her phone. I'm getting a sheriff escort. If he doesn't comply. The clinic door burst open. Marcus, breathing hard, Atlas on a leash. The dog looked worse than Sarah remembered ribs showing, eyes dull, no spark, until he saw her. Atlas lunged, nearly pulling Marcus off his feet. The leash snapped. The dog crashed into Sarah's chest, nearly knocking her down, whimpering and shaking and pressing his full weight against her. Sarah sank to the floor, arms around him, face buried in his fur. He smelled wrong expensive shampoo, wrong food, stress and sadness. But he was here. Marcus stood in the doorway. Defeated. He pulled out his phone, typed, showed Sarah, take care of him. He never stopped looking for you. Then he left without another word. Butter. Morrison emerged from the surgery suite, gloved and ready. We need to start, now. His vitals are weak. I can't promise. Do it. Sarah said aloud, her damaged voice cracking. Save him. They wheeled Atlas away on a gurney. He kept his eyes on Sarah until the surgery door closed between them. Christine touched her arm. You have 2 hours until you're supposed to meet Lily. Surgery takes 3 to 4. What do you want to do? Sarah looked at the closed door, her whole world behind it, fighting for his life. She checked her phone. Hayes had sent an address, a photo. Lily in a pink dress, holding a drawing, a stick figure woman, and a dog. Caption, she drew this for you. She's been practicing what to say. She's so excited. Sarah, please come. 2 hours, 3 to 4 hours of surgery. If she left now, she might miss Atlas waking up, might miss him dying. But Lily was Emma's daughter. Emma, who'd begged Sarah to find her, who'd died believing Sarah would. Christine typed, I'll stay. Jennifer will stay. If anything happens, we'll call. Go meet your goddaughter. Emma would want that. Sarah's phone buzzed. Unknown number. Automated caption. This is Tom Anderson, Lily's foster dad. She's asking if you're still coming. We can reschedule if today's not. Sarah typed back, I'm coming. I'll be there. She looked at the surgery door one more time. Please, she whispered to no one. To God. To Emma. To whoever was listening. Please let him live. I can't lose both of them in one day. Christine's phone rang. She answered, face going pale. Showed Sarah the screen, Marcus's lawyer filing counter-motion. Emergency appeal. Claims you coerced Atlas away from him. Requesting immediate reversal and return of dog. Hearing tomorrow, 9 a.m. Tomorrow. When Atlas would still be in recovery, unable to be moved. If they reversed the order, they'd take him straight from the surgery table. Sarah stood frozen between the door to Atlas and the door to Lily. One fighting for his life, one waiting to meet the woman her mother died protecting. And both could be ripped away in 24 hours. Sarah made it to the Family Services Center by 1:58 p.m. Her hands still shook from leaving the clinic, from walking away while Atlas was under anesthesia. His chest cracked open, his damaged heart exposed. Christine had promised to call. Every minute, any change. The building was institutional beige, trying too hard to be cheerful with outdated motivational posters. A receptionist led Sarah to a small meeting room with toys scattered across a table and windows facing a playground. Tom and Rachel Anderson stood when she entered mid-30s. Kind faces, nervous smiles. Between them, a little girl with dark curls and Emma's exact eyes. Lily. Sarah's knees almost gave out. The girl studied her solemnly, then whispered something to Rachel. Rachel nodded, spoke slowly so Sarah could read her lips. She wants to know if you're really Aunt Sarah. Sarah knelt down, eye level with Emma's daughter. Nodded. Lily reached out, touched Sarah's face with small fingers. Mommy said you saved people. Are you magic? Sarah's vision blurred. She pulled out her phone, typed, your mommy was the magic one. I just tried to keep up. Lily read it with Rachel's help, then smiled Emma's smile, bright and fearless. Daddy Tom says you have a doggy who's sick. Can I meet him? Sarah typed, he's in surgery right now, getting his heart fixed. Like the Tin Man. Lily's eyes went wide. He needs a heart. He has a heart, just needs help making it stronger. Lily reached into her backpack, pulled out a drawing, the one from the photo Hayes had sent. Stick figure woman, stick figure dog. Hearts everywhere, I made this for you. For when your doggy gets better. Sarah took it with trembling hands. This child, Emma's child, offering comfort to the stranger who'd failed to save her mother. Her phone buzzed. Christine complication. Atlas crashed on table. They got him back. Morrison says next hour is critical. I'm sorry. The room tilted. Rachel caught her arm. What's wrong? Sarah showed her the phone. Go, Rachel said immediately. We'll reschedule. Lily understands. But Lily was already at Sarah's side, small hand gripping hers. The doggy needs you, like how Mommy needed you. Sarah looked down at this impossibly brave 3-year-old. Tom spoke. We'll come with you, if that's okay. Lily's been talking about meeting Atlas for weeks. We'd like to be there. For both of you. They arrived at Morrison's clinic at 3:15. Sarah burst through the door. The Andersons closed behind. Jennifer met them in the waiting room. Face drawn. He's stable, barely. Morrison said the valve was worse than imaging showed. She had to replace it completely. He's in recovery now. But the door to the recovery area opened. Morrison appeared, still in surgical scrubs, exhausted. Sarah, he made it through. Vitals are improving. He's a commotion outside. Raised voices. Marcus's Tesla screeched into the parking lot. He burst out, Brittany trailing with her phone already recording. Where is he? Marcus demanded, pushing past Tom. I got an alert from the microchip company emergency surgery. You had no right. Christine stepped between them. We had every right. Court order. Your motion was denied an hour ago. Then I'm appealing to the state Supreme Court. Marcus's voice cracked. That dog is mine. You can't just... He stopped. Lily had stepped forward, looking up at him with Emma's eyes. Are you the man who made Aunt Sarah's doggy sad? The room went silent. Marcus stared at the child. Who? Hayes appeared in the doorway, out of breath. Sarah, I'm sorry. We were supposed to wait, but Lily insisted. He saw Marcus. Oh. Lily tugged Sarah's sleeve, pointed at Marcus. Is he? Why the doggy wouldn't eat. Rachel told me about people who hurt animals and don't mean to, but do anyway, because they're sad inside. Brittany's phone was still up. Recording. The live stream chat exploded. Who's the kid? OMG, she just called him out. This is better than any reality show. Marcus's face went white. He looked at Lily, then at Sarah, then at his girlfriend recording this moment like content. Babe, Brittany whispered, not lowering the phone. This is going super viral. Maybe we should turn it off. Marcus's voice was quiet. But I said turn it off. He grabbed the phone from her hands, shut down the stream. 14,000 people had been watching. He turned to Sarah, pulled out his phone, typed, "Who is she?" Sarah's response was simple. Emma's daughter. The friend who died in my arms. The one I told you about when we were married. Before you decided a deaf wife wasn't worth staying for. Marcus flinched like she'd hit him. Lily, oblivious to the adult tension, walked to the recovery room window. Atlas lay on a table inside. Breathing tubes still in, monitors beeping steadily. She pressed her small hand to the glass. He's sleeping, she said. Like Mommy. But he'll wake up. Right, not like Mommy. The room held its breath. Dr. Morrison knelt beside Lily. He'll wake up, I promise. He's very strong, because Aunt Sarah loves him. Yes. Because of that? Lily turned to Marcus. Do you love him? Marcus opened his mouth, closed it. His lawyer's smooth words had abandoned him in the face of a 3-year-old's honesty. I did. I thought I did. But you gave him away, Lily said, not accusing, just stating fact. My first mommy gave me away too, because she was sick and couldn't take care of me. But she didn't want to. It made her sad. Are you sad? Marcus's hands shook. He looked at Sarah, at this woman he'd abandoned, who'd survived war and deafness and loss, who'd been pulled back from a cliff by the dog he'd discarded. He typed on his phone, showed it to Christine. I'm dropping the case, all of it. Atlas stays with Sarah. Christine's eyebrows shot up. Dr. Whitmore, you've invested significant, I don't care. He typed faster. I saw the look on that little girl's face when she asked if Atlas would wake up. I saw what I looked like through her eyes. A man who hurts things. I don't want to be that person. Sarah wrote, You already are that person, I know. But maybe I can stop being him. He turned to his lawyer. File withdrawal of all claims, immediately. Crawford sputtered. But the microchip, the ownership papers. I don't care about papers. The dog chose her. End of story. Brittany grabbed his arm. Marcus, think about this. The publicity alone, he pulled away from her. Is that all this ever was to you, content? Her silence was answer enough. Marcus looked at Sarah one last time. Typed, I'm sorry. For the divorce, for Atlas, for all of it. I was a coward. You deserved better. Sarah's response was ice, I know. He left. Brittany hurrying after him, already pulling out her phone to film her next narrative. The sheriff arrived at 4:30. Not for Sarah, but with paperwork. Crawford had filed the withdrawal. Atlas belonged to Sarah. Legally, finally. At 5:47. Atlas opened his eyes. Sarah was at his side instantly, hand on his head. He was too weak to lift it, but his tail thumped once against the table. Lily stood on a stool beside her, holding the drawing. Hi, doggy, I'm Lily. I'm going to help Aunt Sarah take care of you. Atlas's eyes found Sarah's. That looked the one that said, I knew you'd come back. Dr. Morrison checked the monitors. Vitals are strong, better than expected. He's going to make it. Hayes stood in the doorway, notepad in hand. I know I have no right to ask for forgiveness. But I need you to know everything I did. I did because I couldn't save Emma. And I thought if I could save you, it might matter. Sarah took the notepad, wrote slowly, You can't save the dead by sacrificing the living. Emma wouldn't have wanted this. I know. I'm sorry. Stop apologizing and do something useful. Help me set up the Atlas Foundation. Real training programs. For veterans who need them. Make Emma's death count for something. Hayes nodded, eyes wet. Jennifer touched Sarah's shoulder. There's one more thing. She handed Sarah an envelope. Hey, process server papers. You've been served. Civil suit. Brittany Walsh. $50,000 in damages assault, emotional distress, loss of income from destroyed phone and canceled brand partnerships. Sarah read it twice. The universe's sick joke. Win Atlas back, get hit with a lawsuit she couldn't possibly pay. She laughed a broken, bitter sound she couldn't hear but felt in her chest. Of course this wasn't over. Christine took the papers. I'll handle it. Pro bono. That woman filmed herself exploiting your trauma. We'll counter-sue for emotional distress, violation of privacy. She'll wish she'd never picked up a phone. The room had grown dark outside. Atlas slept, healing. Lily had curled up in Rachel's lap, fighting sleep herself. Sarah's phone buzzed. Unknown number. This is Amanda Foster, journalist from Montana Tribune. I know you don't do interviews, but I'm working on a story about how the VA fails female veterans. Your case is emblematic. I don't want your tragedy. I want your truth. Will you talk to me? Not for likes. For change. Sarah stared at the message. For 3 years, she'd hidden, isolated. Let the world forget her. But Emma's daughter was asleep 10 feet away, trusting Sarah to be someone worth knowing. And Atlas was alive because people had seen that video, had cared, had fought. Maybe silence wasn't survival anymore. Maybe it was surrender. She typed back, "Yes, I'll talk." But on my terms, Hayes showed her something else on his phone. The GoFundMe, unfrozen. The fraud investigation dropped after Marcus withdrew his claims. Total raised $47,382. Enough for Atlas's surgery. Enough to start the foundation. Enough to fight Brittany's lawsuit. Enough to begin again. Sarah looked at Atlas, at Lily, at the people who'd shown up when she'd given up, at the life she'd almost thrown away on that cliff. Thank you. She typed to all of them, to no one, to whatever force had decided she deserved a second chance. But her phone buzzed one more time. The hospitals. Mitchell. Your benefits review has been flagged. New investigation opened regarding fraud in obtaining service dog documentation. Hearing required? Failure to appear will result in permanent termination and possible criminal charges. The email was time-stamped 20 minutes ago. Someone had reported her. And Sarah had a terrible suspicion she knew who. 2 years later, November 2027, the house on Birch Street wasn't much a 2-bedroom rental on the outskirts of Whitefish with a fenced yard and a ramp Sarah had built herself, but it was theirs. The mailbox read, Mitchell and Anderson, a compromise that honored both Sarah's name and Lily's foster family, who visited every other weekend. 6 a.m. Sarah's alarm vibrated under her pillow. She didn't need it. Atlas always woke her first, his graying muzzle nudging her hand at 5:58 every morning like clockwork. He was slower now at 6 years old. The scar from his surgery ran like a fault line across his chest. His heart medication sat in a pill organizer on the kitchen counter twice daily. $180 a month, worth every penny. Lily's door creaked open. 5 years old now. Hair in crooked pigtails she'd insisted on doing herself. Aunt Sarah. Atlas is hogging my bed again. Sarah smiled, clipped on her hearing aids. The world rushed in furnace humming. Lily's footsteps, Atlas's tail thumping against the hardwood. Breakfast, pancakes, because Lily had asked. Atlas ate his prescription cardiac diet from an elevated bowl. Slower than he used to, but steady. The office took up half the living room. A desk, 2 filing cabinets. A sign on the wall, Atlas House Service Dog Training and PTSD Support. 47 dogs placed in 2 years. 47 veterans sleeping better at night. Hayes's initial donation of $100,000 had started it. The GoFundMe surplus and the settlement from Brittany's dropped lawsuit. Christine had countersued, won, and donated every penny to the foundation, had kept it running. Jennifer volunteered Tuesdays and Thursdays, teaching CPR and emergency first aid to new handlers. Christine handled the legal paperwork pro bono, ensuring every placement was airtight. Hayes visited monthly, always with the same haunted expression, always trying to earn forgiveness Sarah wasn't sure she could give. The nightmares still came. 2, sometimes 3 times a week. Sarah would wake gasping, trapped in the blast that took her hearing, watching Emma die in slow motion. Atlas would be there before her eyes opened, weight pressing across her chest, grounding her to the present. Bad days still existed. Days when getting out of bed felt impossible. When the world was too loud, even with the hearing aids off. When Lily's laughter sounded like screaming and Sarah had to lock herself in the bathroom until the panic passed. But those days were fewer now. And Lily understood. She'd learned to give Sarah space, to leave drawings under the bathroom door, to sit quietly with Atlas until her aunt emerged. They visited Emma's grave the first Sunday of every month. Lily would tell her first mother about kindergarten, about the new puppy they were training, about how Aunt Sarah let her stay up late on Fridays. Sarah would stand silent, Emma's dog tags heavy around her neck, and try not to think about all the things Emma would never see. This afternoon, they'd train a new dog, a lab mix named Charlie, destined for a Marine with night terrors. Tomorrow, Lily had a play date. Next week, Sarah had her monthly appointment with Dr. Foster. The routine held her together like stitches. At sunset, they sat on the porch, Atlas's head in Sarah's lap, heavier than it used to be. Lily beside her, reading aloud from a library book about space. Sarah wore her hearing aids, heard the words, "the wind." Atlas is breathing slower, shallower than 2 years ago. Dr. Morrison had been clear the surgery bought time, not eternity. Maybe 3 more years, maybe 5 if they were lucky. Sarah didn't think about the end. Just this moment. Lily's voice, Atlas's warmth, the sky turning gold. She pulled out her journal, a habit Dr. Foster insisted on. Wrote, "Not every day is easy, but every day is worth it." Lily leaned against her shoulder. "Aunt Sarah, when I grow up, I want to help dogs and people too. Like you. Like Mommy Emma." Sarah nodded, throat tight. Emma's legacy. Not in Sarah's broken survival, but in this fierce, beautiful child who chose kindness over fear. Atlas sighed, content. Tired. Home. Sarah's phone buzzed. Dr. Morrison routine checkup reminder, Atlas due next week. Recent blood work shows minor valve deterioration. Not critical yet. But we should discuss options. Not critical yet. Yet. Sarah put the phone down, looked at her family chosen, cobbled together from wreckage and hope. Tomorrow would bring its own battles. Tonight, they had this. The 3 of them watching the sun set over mountains that had witnessed Sarah's lowest moment and somehow, impossibly, her return. Atlas's tail thumped once against the porch. Still here, still fighting, still choosing her. And Sarah, for the first time in 5 years, choosing to stay. Sarah's story isn't just about a woman and a dog named Atlas. It's about what happens when the systems designed to protect us fail. When the people who promised to stay walk away. When surviving feels harder than surrender. If you've ever stood on your own cliff, literal or metaphorical, and something or someone pulled you back. Comment Atlas below. Let others know they're not alone. If you know a veteran struggling in silence, share this story, not for views. Because one person reading this might be the Sarah in your life. And they need to know that asking for help isn't weakness. Real talk, there are thousands of veterans like Sarah fighting invisible battles right now. The VA system that failed her fails someone new every day. Service dog programs like the Atlas House exist, but they're underfunded and overwhelmed. Here's what you can actually do. Look up K9s for warriors or pause for Purple Hearts. Donate if you can. Volunteer if you can't. And if you're a veteran reading this, the Veterans Crisis Line is 988 Press 1. You are not broken beyond repair. Sarah almost died believing she was alone. Atlas proved her wrong. Be someone's Atlas today. Check on the veteran you know. Send the text, make the call. Because sometimes the difference between surviving and surrendering is knowing one person still cares. Comment second chances if you believe everyone deserves one.